Hello and welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video I am going to be doing the final stage, stage 12 of the Nightmare faction trial. This is also going to be tactics or strategy that you can use in stages 10 and 11 because the setup of the stages are exactly the same. The only difference is what you actually have to do. So like for instance, stage 10 is deploy 10 heroes from the Nightmare Council. That means you have to deploy and sell characters to be able to do this. But in this strategy, I will be removing characters because you kind of have to a certain extent. With no hero getting killed, that is actually pretty difficult. And then the last one is stage 12, where you have to deploy 8 fighters, which it doesn't sound too difficult because there are a lot of fighters in this allegiance. But generally speaking, you know, some of the better ones are harder to come by. For instance, I'm not going to be using Arrogance, but if you do have Arrogance, you can use him instead. I am going to be using Lust. I think you pretty much have to use Lust or Arrogance in the particular place I'm going to put them. Arrogance is the better character, so if you have Arrogance, definitely put him where I put Lust in this. And you could put Lust somewhere else. So, like, you could use Lust instead of Salazar. Salazar is quite hard to come by. He is obviously just random. And I think he's probably the hardest character out of the list that I've got. I did already complete this, and I did it with Hatssut instead of Nalvras. But I figured Hatssut is actually one of the hardest characters to get in the game. So it's probably better, if I can, to try and do it without Hatssut in the team. Now, I think I've turned off Power of Dominance. I have indeed. So we'll just run through it, and I'll see if I can actually get things done here with Nalvras. Okay, so now I'm going to start the fight. And the first character we're going to place is going to be Volker. And we're going to place her as the bottom line tank. She has got a Lunacy Visor on, so she gets a bit of lifesteal, extra block. But she also has base lifesteal on her kit. And you can see she's healing for 7.2k per hit. She has to be able to out-heal this character's damage, this enemy's damage. So she's always at 100% HP before these other enemies come in. Otherwise, if she's at like 80% or 70% anything, she's going to not be able to attack the next batch. And we're going to put in Salazar here. He's my heaviest nuker. This is a problematic situation, like the position. You could try and put Lust in here. Basically, you kind of need Salazar or Hatssut to be able to nuke these characters that are coming. And next up, we're going to be putting in Nalvras. But if you have got Hatssut, like I said, put her in for sure. And now what we're going to do is we're going to nuke these characters once they're all here. And we'll do that. There we go. Very nice. And hopefully we can take out 2 more. There we go. So there's only 1 enemy left. Now I could sell all these characters. I will sell Nalvras once his ultimate ends. But we're going to leave him here. We're going to place Abomination as quickly as possible up the top. And now we've got max Nightmare buff as well, which is a nice little bonus. Now we're going to let the first enemy hit Abomination, so he's blocking them. I have got him in very offensive gear, but he should be okay because he out-damages their damage. And then I'm going to put down Gluttony. And Gluttony will do a little bit of damage against this enemy, but what he should do is he should use his ultimate against the character he blocks, which should be this one, which is obviously quite nice. And his ultimate is a one-shot. He can one-shot any enemy, well, not any enemy, but any of the enemies that he can actually hit, he can one-shot. I'm going to put down Greed here. And the reason we put down Greed is because he will slow any enemies walking past, but also we need to do a lot of damage against this enemy just here. He needs to be in very good gear because he's going to have to kill enemies that walk across as well. And then what you can see here is Salazar's got his ult now. And why I kept him alive was I can do a little bit of damage against this enemy because of his range on his ult. It's quite nice, which is obviously great. And we'll just let the damage come in at the top. Happy days. And then what I probably need to do here is sell Salazar. Sell Wrath. I need to keep Salazar up realistically if I can, just because I don't have the time to replace him. And I'm going to have to do a lot of damage on this enemy. Now, if you've got Arrogance, he is the best character for this position. Looking up, he can attack both of these enemies here with his ult when it pops, and he should be able to get a natural rush, or sorry, a natural ultimate just straight away because the initial rage. This isn't going to be super quick. Doing a bit of magic damage, as you can see, but nothing too crazy. We are going to place this character here. Now, if you've done the numbers, you can probably work out I haven't placed enough fighters, so a little thing you can do is place a fighter cheekily in a second. I'm going to pop Nalvaras as this enemy goes past. Here we go. I think we should be okay because we have got quite a lot of damage, and then what we'll do is pop this character. And then we'll just pop this. And then what we can do is we can place a fighter here for the time being. Oh, just about. Just about. And once we've taken out this enemy, we can sell him. It's actually not that important to sell him just yet, so we'll just keep him here. We'll pop his ult maybe. This is A, to put down extra fighters, but also to get a bit of damage in up here, which is important. The first of these two enemies should get eaten, so that should be good. Okay, once one of these enemies is taken out, I will sell. Put Wrath back up here. And as you can see, Abomination's in perma ult now, which is good. Which is nice indeed. And we'll pop Nalvaras. Actually, will we? I might have to... Oh no, we're good, we're good. He did die, but it's not a problem. We'll just put him down for the meantime. It's another placement, but it's not a big deal. This is the problematic thing, because this is the last two, isn't it? This is the last two. Now, Salazar can hit these as they come across. That's why he's so good here. If you've got Lust here, you could obviously pop her as they're walking across. They do stop for a second, so you just wait until they stop to hit them with Salazar. Here we go. I did actually pop his ult a little bit earlier. I might have messed it up. I might have messed it up. That's my bad. We'll see. I think I have, you know. It's all on Greed. Greed can hit very hard. They're going to wait here. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Now, I did pop Nalvaras a little bit too early. You want to wait until they start walking across. I think maybe he can even hit them here. There are obviously some shaky parts. Her doing enough damage for the initial ones. It's all about Greed having enough damage. And then there we go. There we go. You need, I'd say, one or two fighters. You need like two of Lust, Arrogance, and Salazar. Realistically, I had the two worst out of the three. You know, Arrogance is definitely the better one of the three. I can show the damage. I don't think it really matters too much, but you can see he is doing a lot of damage with his nuke. But the 4 million coming out of Greed cannot be understated because he's killing the ones walking across. Now I can show the gear. I have to back out because we aren't allowed to check in here. But bring up Nightmare. I'll go with Salazar first because he's here. Single target damage is pretty much how you want to build a lot of these characters, except for Greed. So we went with heavy single target here, and pretty heavy stuff. This is my like Silas gear, and I went with Scarlet Hunt because he does bleed enemies, and then obviously he gets bonuses if they're bleeding. No magic damage from this character, so he is attacking tanks, so it can be problematic. The next character is going to be Lust. Heavy attack speeds, decent-ish crit damage, nothing too crazy. You might want to put some heavy damage gear on her, but I think attack speed is more important. It seems to be like better, and obviously she does get a bit of magic damage out when she is doing her ultimate. Single target damage boost again, 33% extra attack because it can stack up to 3 times, so that is great. And then we have this guy in my second best single target gear. He needs to be able to take out that first enemy that hits him by himself pretty much. So it's a speed, you know, it's a race because he will get taken out by that enemy if you don't take him out quick enough. If you try and build him tanky, like I did try him in Glacier, it's just too slow. It's just too slow. And then because it's single target nuking, I put him with Keen Wisdom. I could have potentially went with something else like a Wailing Skull, but sometimes you can block your teammates with this stuff with these characters. So I don't put Wailing Skull on anyone except Wrath because he's the last one I placed out. And then if we go to who was next? Volker was just in tanky gear. Like this could potentially be gear I just took straight off my Olag. And then I have her in a Lunacy Visor. She just needs to be able to tank that first enemy. And then from there on, she's just mainly going to be doing her debuff as an ultimate when you nuke with Salazar or Lust or, you know, those characters that are kind of around there. And then we have Greed. Greed has my best kind of AoE gear. This would be my Kamet gear. He's going to get very high attack. He pops his own ult quite a lot. And the way, obviously, that Soulbound Arcana works right now is anyone's ult can make it go up, but that's going to probably change in the future. But he gets his ult off quick enough that this is still going to be viable. He also has a Unfortunate Skull, increases his AoE damage by 31%. This is better for him than a Terror Twilight because he doesn't get targeted, so the 14% damage taken doesn't make any difference. Then we have Wrath, who's into some pretty basic Soulbound Arcana gear, and he pops his ult quite a lot. Other people popping their ult buffs him and so on and so forth. I did have him in that Wailing Skull, like I said. Not that big a deal, but he can maybe just get a little bit of extra damage here. And like I say, not too much of a problem. And then the last two characters, I did place him, but it isn't that much of a problem. I did put him in some pretty decent gear, though. He has some quite nice Night Terror gear. I just placed him because you need to place to get a 3-star. I think I got 3-star. I didn't actually see if I got 3-star, but I'm pretty sure. If I didn't get 3-star, just make sure you, like, right at the end, you could see while those two are walking across, you can sell some of your fighters that can't hit anybody and place more fighters just to make sure. And then I didn't have anything on him. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to place these characters. So I have some maybe half decent gear on him, but nothing too crazy. And another Wailing Skull, apparently. Now, I did actually forget to show the gear that I had on Nalvras. I don't think his gear is that important, but it is quite important maybe at the beginning of the fight, just to get some extra damage. I had this gear here. I think this is basically a backup set I had, basically for Ageless Wrath on the right-hand side. A little bit of crit damage, 100% crit cap, obviously quite important. Reasonably decent attack. He's got over 10,000 attack, which isn't too bad for Nalvaras. I don't have him max promotions, so he's missing a little bit of stats. So I would recommend, I need to get around to it. I will do it at a certain point. And the artifact I had was a maxed out Terror Twilight. This is just to give him an extra 30% attack when he is deployed. This is going to help quite a lot because obviously he is an epic, so he's going to just have, you know, worse stats generally speaking. He doesn't get attacked at all, so he's always going to get that buff throughout the fight. And if you just time his ultimate a little bit better than me, I got a little bit ahead of myself, then you should be absolutely fine. That's it for the Nightmare Faction Trial. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Just make sure you read the 10, 11, 12 requirements in terms of what you have to do, in terms of placement, in terms of not letting characters get taken out, so on and so forth. But thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.